of the year.
First show of the year. We're few days shy of you turning 21 again. So we're gonna make sure we celebrate you properly at the end of the show. Before we go any further, we want to make sure we send out our thoughts and prayers to Dama Hamlin, a player for the Buffalo Bills who was injured on Monday Night Football, who has regained consciousness and is doing well as we speak, getting better as we speak. So we want to make sure we send our thoughts and prayers out to him and his family and the whole Buffalo Bills nation and NFL as a whole for that whole situation. We want to make sure we don't want to make light of that as we move forward. Even though we have a lot of fun on our show, we want to make sure we send our prayers for that. All righty. As always, we want to make sure to click like, click share, and get on the phone, get on, send text, get on your social media and let everybody know that Felix and Kamau is back on the internet. And they talking sports again, and they about to have some fun. We're gonna learn something new, and we're gonna have a great day of sports here. And we want to thank you as always for coming out and supporting us. And we're gonna start with our topic of the week for the second straight show. Our topic of the week is: will the Detroit Lions make the playoffs? What you think, sir?
Man, look. I said all year I was going to wear the jersey of the team that they played. Since it's a new year and since TCU beat Michigan, I said, okay, I went ahead and put on this Jared Goff jersey. Now, I do think they got a chance. I do. Everybody has a puncher's chance. I do. But just think, if they would have beat Carolina, we're not even having this discussion.
Nope.
We're not even having this discussion. So
they went down there lay the egg.
Right. To answer your question, I don't think they're gonna do it. I think it's gonna be a good season. They had a good season. You know, we all wrote them off. But nah.
I can tell you the first thing I said: if they win more than 5 games, it'll be a miracle. So I guess miracles do happen because the Lions have done. They started off 1-6, and now they are in the playoff hunt. And like you said, had they won last week, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. We would be planning for them probably to go on the road somewhere. Even if they do win next week, they'll still be going on the road somewhere to play somebody. Whoever that somebody is, we don't know. But we shall see. I'm going to reserve my guess, my prediction to the end. And there's a special reason for that. But let's see. So right now they're 8-8. And because of the fact that they are in a special, they are playing in the premier game of the weekend. They're getting Sunday Night Football. The last game of the regular season will be held in Green Bay in the frozen tundra. The Lions will be going up there that night, playing the 8:20 game. And it should be a rock'em sock'em fun night. I'll be able to watch the entire game. I'm looking forward to it. That'll be the last thing I see before I go to sleep because I start my new schedule, working at 4 a.m. in the morning. Woo! We gonna make it happen. We gonna make it happen.
Right.
And this is a possible winner take all scenario for this game. I'm looking forward to it because we haven't had this kind of playoff intensity and drama happening for us in our area with any sport, and I can't remember how long. Well, since the Lions last played in the playoffs, I think the last time there was a playoff run, the Lions and the Tigers, Lions and Tigers both won the playoffs. No, I think the last team to make the playoffs was the Pistons when they had the guy that could jump out the gym that played for the Nets now. When he hurt his knee, I think that was the last Detroit team to make a playoff. What is his name? He came from the Clippers. Blake. We had Blake Griffin. Yep, I think that's the last Detroit playoff team. But the last time
they got swept by who did they lose to? I think they lost to Cleveland that first round with LeBron. I think they did. Yeah.
So that was our last Detroit team to make the playoffs. The last time the Lions made the playoffs, they lost quickly in the first round, and then promptly right after that, they fired the coach, brought in the guy from New England, who promptly took and thumbed his nose at everything and everybody and ruined that team. Now he's
But
back
that
in
was
New
his
Orleans.
buddy. His buddy brought him in. That was.
Oh,
his
you got
buddy.
to. You got to. You got to pay for it. Take care of your friends. Because
Man.
that's what That's what I know. I'm not saying I'm gonna bring my friend in. I'm gonna bring in somebody I'm familiar with, that I can trust. I can possibly do the job. Didn't quite work out for him that way, but they tried, and at the time I didn't think he was a bad coach. I didn't think that the guy that they brought in for him at the time. I just thought that it was bad timing. I thought that they had a pretty decent coach at the time. He's I think he's definitely better than one we have now. He didn't have
Caldwell.
Caldwell. He had
better than what we got now.
Oh, definitely. Easily. They both have trouble controlling the clock and making decisions down the stretch. But in terms of preparing the team and having them ready to play, Caldwell, I would say hands down, is better than what we had before. What we have now in terms of a coach. I take Caldwell over any day. I don't understand. At the time, I guess the general manager was like, "Hey, well, we can do better with our guy. We just bring that up." Right. And the leadership listened. The force listened.
Correct.
But so right now, I think we're on track again to do well with what we have. I'm not completely 100% sold on him as the coach yet. He's getting there. I'm getting there in terms of my belief in him. He's starting to make some better decisions down the stretch. But everybody, he was never a head coach. He was never a head coach of anything. So we knew there was going to be a learning curve for him.
So you say So you saying no matter what, bring him back next year?
I didn't say that.
No, that's my question.
No.
Don't bring him back.
No. If we can bring in a Sean Payton, if we can pay that old contract off and possibly give up that number one this year that we getting to bring in Payton, I would be standing at Ford Field ready to shake his hand when they brought him in for the press conference. I'd take off and fly in and be at the door and Detroit Lions hat, jersey, and some shorts in the middle of the winter.
Sean ain't come in. No, he's gonna take a whole lot to get Sean because Sean ain't come in.
Well, I don't see why he wouldn't want to come to Detroit because we have the pieces in place that he would need to be necessary to win. He got a steady quarterback that he can coach up. He got a good set of young receivers. We got two good running backs and a good young offensive line. The defense still needs some improvements, and you can do that through the draft. But the defense we have, young linemen, defensive linemen, are doing well. The kid from Michigan, who I didn't think was going to do well, will probably be the defensive rookie of the year. So there's some pieces in place right now. I don't see why.
Who would be a good coach for them? I ain't even trying to be funny. A good coach for them would be your man up the road. Oh, Jimmy. Jimmy would be the partner. Yeah, for real. Well, for real, you just said it. You just said it, sir. You just go back and listen to what you just said. You said he got the pieces in place, right? Okay. He got a quarterback, right? Okay. He's familiar with one of the players that's on defense. He coached him at Michigan. That would be a good answer. Absolutely.
I can't disagree with that. As much as initially my heart would be like, "Oh my God, are you?" Yeah, Jim Harbaugh will be a good coach for the Lions. He would definitely continue to improve the culture, improve the team, and they would be a playoff team every year because he does have that about him. He has the ability to bring the culture's team up, and I can't take that away from him. He's a little on the strange side. He probably would put his Coney dog inside of his White Castle eating at the same time. Yeah. But other than that, he would be okay.
Right.
He would order a loose Coney and a White Castle hamburger together and eat them that way. But to each his own. So I'm not saying that would be a bad thing. I'm not saying I would actually be okay with that. I would actually be okay with that. It would drive me a little crazy in the beginning just to think about it, but at the end of the day, I would be okay with that. Wow. You threw a curveball on that one. You definitely threw a curveball on me on that one. So if the let's see, the Seattle Seahawks win, the Lions are totally out of it. And it'll be if Green Bay wins, Green Bay gets in. But if not, if they beat Green Bay, who's the other team that will get in? I know that because Seattle plays LA and the Lions play. There's three teams: Seattle, Detroit, and Green Bay. Some kind of a combination for them to win and lose.
Right. They have to beat Green Bay, and the Rams have to beat Seattle. If Seattle wins and we lose, then Green Bay goes. If we beat Green Bay and Seattle loses to the Rams, we go.
I'm glad you got that figured out, because I sure been trying to figure that out. And
I told you, public school education is good.
DPS, I'm a DPS product. I didn't finish all the way through, but I went 10 years, and most of my good education came right through DPS. So I agree. Absolutely. DPS is great. DPS is still standing strong, and I believe in DPS and the people that work there. Still got a lot of good friends that are working in the school system. So that's a good plug for DPS. So I'm gonna say my prediction to the end, and it's a special reason for that. I'm hoping I'm gonna just hold that right there, and we're gonna see. I'm gonna give it when we give it the rest of them. When we go, we're gonna talk about the college football playoff and all the rest of that stuff. Moving forward, don't forget to click like, click share. I know if you didn't see me reaching earlier, I was trying to find in my book. So Gratefulness Journey Every Day by Marcus Holmes. I don't have it right in front of me, but it is right here. Make sure you go on Amazon and get it. Valentine's Day will be here very, very soon, and you can get it on Amazon. And within a day or so, it's a good price, and we want to make sure you do that as well. Go pick up that book, and don't forget to click like, click share, and join our Facebook page. It is growing weekly. We just had 3 new members join. We want to thank those members for joining with us. And click like, click share, get your friends on the phone, and let them know that Felix and Kamau are on the internet talking about this here sports week, this last couple weeks, and coming up before it as well. And to be honest with you guys, we are not live this time. We are coming at you on slight tape delay. So if you leave a comment, we will go back and make sure we say something to you and acknowledge what you have said. So please click like, click share, and leave a comment as you go through as to what we're saying. Normally, we would try and give an immediate response, but because it's on a slight tape delay, you'll see that we'll be able to go back and comment on it as well. Moving forward to the NBA, we always want to try and start with our hometown Detroit Pistons, and they are on their usual mid-season slide, cha-cha slide, ice slide. But I can say, even though the scores look like they're a little further out, they are playing. They're playing more. Last year, this time, the game would be over after the first 6 minutes. Now the game is over in the beginning of the fourth quarter, which is a big improvement. There's more talent there. There's more teams there. We talked about this before. Is it time to start making a little bit more noise about getting a better coach, or should we be waiting because Cade is out for the year?
I told you, long time ago. There's a guy, he's sitting, I don't know, he might be sitting at home. He might be on somebody's bench. His name is Quinn Snyder. Go get Quinn Snyder. Okay. This guy, for the Utah Jazz to get rid of him, go get Quinn Snyder. Okay. Young, Duke product. He's a Duke assistant coach. He learned from one of the best in the game, Coach Krzyzewski. Go get Quinn Snyder.
Okay. I can agree with that. I always thought that Snyder was a good coach. I always thought he was cool. He had the curly hair and always wore the he reminded me of a young Phil Jackson. That's who he reminded me of with the high water pants, a little bit too tight. Because I always crack jokes on him, but he is a good coach, and I would say that he would be a good fit for the young team that we have. I'm not gonna lie, I'm excited about this new team. I still try and catch him a little bit. It's still hard to watch NBA basketball because all the turnovers. But they play harder. Because I just remember us be talking about them last year, especially when they go see them play against Dallas. That game was over after the first 6 minutes, and I was like, they need to trade the whole team but 3 of them, and because that's how bad they play. But this year, excuse me, I can see the movement, the upward mobility of them, but are they at a point now where they are able to make a run? And that answer is definitely no. So we can look at a new coach. We can look at some other things. We haven't heard from the owner. I haven't heard the owner speaking. I couldn't tell you last time I heard anything from him. When he first bought the team and they was out in Auburn Hills, he was excited and always on camera at the games and the camera at the games. And you don't see him no more. What happened to him? Is he on the watch list?
It's not a priority right now. It's not the priority right now. I mean, it's like, okay, I invested in this team. I bought this team from Karen Davis, the widower from the late Bill Davison.
Yep.
But he like, I get out there when I get out there. It's not a priority.
Seemed like as soon as he took him downtown, he was just like, "We're gonna drop this. We're gonna drop him in the LC. I don't feel safe downtown or something. I don't know what it is, but you don't see him no more. And you don't have to be vocal, but just be visible.
Right.
At least let the people know the city of Detroit that you down with them like we are.
Right.
Because they coming out. They selling that arena out every night.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I see that. Mm-hmm.
They moved to downtown. They got safe parking. They got people watching them cars, and it's right off of Cass Corridor. They didn't clear Cass Corridor out, and they going to the games. But so to me, you would at least want to say, "Hey, thank you," and thank you at least by showing your face.
Right.
But that's just me. All right, we got two teams that are kind of mirroring themselves right now: the Pelicans and the Nets. They are both in third place in their respective conferences. Pelicans 24-14, the Nets 25-13. We got on the Nets, we got Zion and CJ McCollum balling out of control with the other young man. What's the skinny guy whose name I can never remember?
Brandon Ingram.
Brandon Ingram. Yes, the This Generation's Plastic Man. Remind me of Plastic Man that came out of the UNLV. To me, he's this generation's Stacey Augmon out there just balling out of control. And I'm really glad to see that, because we talked about before, what was Zion gonna do when he got this money? Was he gonna step up? Was he gonna play? What was he gonna do? And Zion is and like we always say, it's not what you worth, is what you can negotiate. He's starting to be worth what he's negotiating. He's still sitting a little bit. I think they're giving him a pitch count without really saying it, by keeping him out, so not to stress him so much, because as he get back in real game shape. But he out there playing. Good and well, he getting the ball on the left. It's going to the left. He going left. He gonna score. Right. He got the ball on the right. He gonna face up and he gonna shoot, because he on the right.
That's him.
That's him. The book is out, but you're not stopping him. So I like that. I like him right now. And the Nets are in the same kind of a position, 25-13. They've won 9 out of the last 10. And coincidentally, they are playing against each other right now. I was trying to catch up with the score a little bit. It was pretty close earlier. We'll definitely know by the time we get out of here what the end result was. But I'm glad to see the two of those teams are starting to elevate when they were expected to do well. In the beginning of the season, not so much. So the main question would be, was Steve Nash the problem for the Nets?
Nah, Steve Nash wasn't the problem.
I think it was a combination. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The problem was that Steve Nash, let me see. Everybody that plays the game is not a coach. Mm-hmm. And everybody that coached the game is not a player. You took a guy who never had coaching experience whatsoever. The difference between him and Jacques Vaughn is they both were NBA players. Jacques Vaughn was a head coach prior to the New Jersey Nets. Right. Well, the Brooklyn Nets, I'm sorry. So he coached Orlando, where he failed. But he had 82 games to fail. Mm-hmm. Steve Nash didn't have it. So that's why the slight edge goes to Jacques Vaughn, but not by that much. And then respect is not given, it's earned. Mm-hmm. He didn't earn that respect. Jacques Vaughn is they actually earning his respect. That's where the difference is.
I have to agree with you. Steve Nash had 2.5 seasons, and he didn't quite, 2.25 seasons, and he didn't quite get much done with them. I think his style, passive style, didn't go too far because KD is the kind of guy he wants to be coached. You know, he don't mind you getting after him a little bit if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, as long as you do it the right way. Correct. Kyrie, on the other hand, I don't know. Him and God.
It's Kyrie. It's hated or love it. Like 50 Cent said, hated or love it. It's Kyrie is Kyrie.
Kyrie is Kyrie. And Kyrie is happy because he out there doing tricks with the ball we ain't seen in the previous 10, 12 years he's been in the league, and he out there killing them. And I'm glad to see that. They're meshing together well out there. When in the beginning of the season, KD wanted out. And I'm glad to see that they've said we gonna fix this. Right. And nothing has been in the news. Let's put it that way. Every team got problems. I don't care who you are. The little league team, middle school, high school, college, every team got issues. But it's nothing out in the public. And that's what I like to see. Same thing happened with New Orleans. New Orleans was McCollum. I only know who Zion is. We ain't seen him. He ain't called me. You ain't heard nothing else about that. Willie went in and said, "Hey, you don't do that around here." And after that, they didn't. Willie, as in Willie Green, the coach down. He said, "We're not gonna have this."
Yeah, we're not doing it right.
Man. He fixed that up, and now they on track. Now they on track. So Detroit product got him going real well down there. And like you said, they've earned his respect, and vice versa. Green already had the respect of the league. Everybody, it is rare that you can see that nobody had anything bad to say about Willie Green. That's rare. Right. That's very rare. And so when they took over the team, they just knew that, give him time, and they made that playoff push at the end of the year, even though Zion was hurt. I think they planned the playing game, if I remember correctly. Close to it.
Yeah, they lost in the playoff.
Yep. And so the trajectory of the Pelicans is in a good spot, and I hope the same thing continues for the Nets. All right, moving forward, we got to talk about college basketball. We got the big game tomorrow. Michigan State goes to Ann Arbor, if I'm correct. I think that's right.
They come to Ann Arbor.
They come to East Lansing. Okay, my bad. So Michigan versus Michigan State in East Lansing in the afternoon game. I think it's 3 or 4 o'clock that game starts, something like that. 2:30. So I might be home. Hopefully I'll be back home in time to see the game, but I'll probably get to catch the second half to see what's going to happen. I'm looking forward to this game. I think this game will be tightly contested, not by the players, but by the referees. I think the referees going to have a pregame meeting with both coaches. Come sit. All right, now we ain't going to have no funny stuff out there. We're going to play a key game.
No, I don't think they will, because Juwan gives Tom the same respect as Tom gives Juwan.
I don't think that's the issue. That's not the two of them as competitors against each other. They love each other because, of course, Tom tried to recruit them. I'm talking about in terms of how the teams interact against each other. This is the big rivalry.
I think that been kind of died down.
Think so?
Yeah. The only problem Michigan has is that the center, he has his own podcast, and he just, for some odd reason, he has to always say something about Michigan State. It's like, dude, you can't talk about them when you're losing as well.
Yeah, they were a top 10 team in the preseason, and they're not even they haven't even getting any votes. Yeah, they're not even getting any votes right now. Michigan State has gotten a few, but they're not even getting votes for, like, they're not even getting the 2-3 votes.
Yeah, they're honorable mention. That's what they are.
They're not even honorable mention. Michigan State is honorable mention, and they were ranked for a minute, but in the preseason they weren't. So to me, they're being the team that they were expected to be with a little preseason success. They'll make the tournament like they always do. They'll figure it out. And I'm hoping, honestly, even though as a state man, I'm hoping that Michigan does too. It's best for the conference, best for the state, it's best for everybody when both teams are there.
Correct.
And plus, we give us a chance to talk more junk. My team went further, your team, we both lost first round. We got to have something to talk about. We got to have somebody to tease each other about. Right now, the football team, Michigan Wolverines can hold everything over all the Spartans' head and on all the Buckeyes' head right now. They can talk all the junk, and we can say, yeah, you're right. But so that's the fun part of it. So we want to see them continue to move forward with Juwan, even though Juwan has had a few issues. I always say he need to call Bob Huggins. He need to call Bobby Knight. He need to call who's the guy at Villanova? He left Villanova. He need to talk to them guys. Jay Wright. He need to talk to some of them guys who push the envelope a little too far and just get so they can say, hey, just keep it, because you got to be, even though you're competitors, you still got to get mentored by those guys. I want to see Juwan continue to do well. He's a good coach, but you got to control it just a little bit. I want to see him continue to move forward. It's at the end of the day, University of Michigan not going to do much. It's going to take the league, as in the Big Ten, going to go in when they had to say something about it, and then or the NCAA itself. That's when it'll be too much of a problem. We don't want to see that happen.
Right.
So, what we're gonna put that in our bag for the end to see. We're gonna make a prediction on that. Right now the NCAA tournament, and not the tournament, but the in terms of the number of where we are in terms of rankings, Purdue is number one. They did lose one game, and they're coming off of a win against Ohio State the other night, where they were going down stretch, but they made a 3 to win the game, and they look a little shaky. But you got to remember, this is Big Ten time.
Correct.
When you get to the Big Ten tournament, season, you gonna catch a couple L's, and you might catch an L from somebody you don't expect to catch an L from.
Right.
They might lose
to Rutgers. That's who they lost. They caught their first L to Rutgers.
Yep, they lost to Rutgers. Yep. So that wasn't a team that you would traditionally think they would lose to.
Exactly.
So, had they lost to Maryland or State or had they lost at Ohio State game, it wouldn't have been that much of a big deal. But when did Michigan State, take their first loss to in the Big Ten? Northwestern. So last month. So that's the second time in 3 years we took that first game out of the chute, and the Big Ten lost to Northwestern. So but that's the conference. The conference, and hopefully that's another thing. Hopefully Northwestern will make the tournament this year. So that's the only team in the Big Ten that has not made the tournament. So let's pray that they get, instead of trying to prepare to go to New York for the NIT, try to prepare to go be at least 67 and get the play-in game or something.
Right.
So make that leap. Right. But if football can go ahead and make the commitment, why can't basketball? Normally you would think it's easier in basketball than it is in football, but it hasn't quite happened. So that just lets me know that they haven't quite made that commitment to doing so. But let's see here. Let's make a quick rounds in rankings. We got Purdue, Houston still playing well. Kansas, I still think, like you said, a team to beat. You got UConn back in the top number 4. You got Arizona, Texas, who we're going to talk about in Stupid Sports News at 12-1. Alabama, who's been there for the last 2 years in high rankings. Tennessee, Gonzaga, who started off as the number 1. They're at 12-3. UCLA, Virginia, Miami, Arkansas, back up there again, like we haven't seen them in a while. Wisconsin, Indiana, Duke, who's made a little bit of a drop, but they're still in the top 20. TCU, which is right down the street, who's city we're going to talk about at the end again as well. Once we get to college football, Xavier, who's been back. They were out a little while for a long time. Xavier was there, and then their head coach went to Ohio State, and but we hadn't seen much of them, but they're back. You got Baylor, and rounding out the top 20 is Missouri. And these are all 1-loss, 2-loss teams. The only team with 3 losses is Gonzaga, Indiana, and Duke, and Baylor. But it's an early part of the season, and it's going to be a lot of up and down and switching around, and because that's basketball, because you're playing 25 games before you even get to your conference tournament.
Absolutely.
And so that's what happens. So right now, the team with the most most games will look like it's 15 so far. Yep. So far they've no more than 15 games by any of the teams in the top 25. So this is the fun part of the season. When you get to January, you get to the cold and blustery. They still make it across the Midwest from one place to the other. And when they got to get on the bus, they make it happen. and so it makes some great games, which is I'm glad I streamed my cable so I can see all the different conferences going on.
Right.
Big 12, SEC, and Big 10, Pac-12. They'll catch those late games even on a Tuesday night. It'll be 10 o'clock. Some of them games just be getting started good out there on the West. Get to see Oregon and Oregon State. So that's the good part about having the streaming. All right, sir. Let's see. Here we are. As always, click like, click share, and ask your friends to come check us out. And once again, in full disclosure, we are on a bit of a tape delay, so please still leave a comment, and we will definitely make sure we get back to you and comment on your comment. So thank you in advance for doing that. Thank you for joining our Facebook page. That it is growing by leaps and bounds. Don't forget we got the merch on the page, so go check us out. Don't forget also check out all the other shows in the Loving Stuff Diaspora, Loving Stuff on Tuesday night, Loving Scriptures, and there's a ton more. So we want to make sure that you try and check us all out, because we all support each other and we all are rooted in the same thing, which is love, which is our love for sports, which is what got us here. All righty. We are moving forward to our New Year's resolutions. Some of the resolutions that we have, that I have for our show. We're going to try and expand our coverage a little bit, and the baseball and the hockey. That's why I got on my Red Wings. The one team probably doing the best right now in the city, and baseball, the Tigers, which, like I said, which was my second love, which was baseball. I want to see us do well. I really do. I always make sure I support the Tigers when they come down here, and I'm always yelling "Viva los Tigres" when the Tigers play. That's "Go Tigers" in Spanish. Viva los Tigres.
Oh, okay.
I yell at the games. And Tigers have done well in all the games I've seen them down here. So knock on wood, hopefully they continue to do so. Knock on wood when I get to go see them at the double wide shed, the beautiful inside shed looking outside. But hey, it's working, so why not? I see football and basketball. Football and baseball, and it's a multi-purpose stadium, and they're making it work. All right, let's see here. We want to make sure we do more polls. What you think about doing some live TV events, sir? Like the game will be on, we watch it at the same time and comment like the Paytons do. You down to do something like that, sir?
Sure, I laugh. That's a good laugh. Let's do it. Let's do it when it's a Michigan game, so I can really get a good laugh.
Okay. All right. We won't be able to do it tomorrow's game because I probably won't be back in time. But hopefully the next game when they go to Ann Arbor, let's try and set that one up so we can do a live remote where we can watch the game at the same time and make comments on it and everything. We want to make sure we push our merchandise, because the merchandise goes to scholarships, which leads into expanding our scholarships, because we're going to try and do one for Super Bowl in terms of some kids that are going off to college. We want to sell merch as well as have maybe a GoFundMe or something like that, so we can get at least one good scholarship to a kid who has earned his way into college, and a book scholarship on behalf of our show, in the name of the show, so the kid can go and say, "Hey, I love sports. I played sports possibly, and I'm going off to college, and this will help in the bookstore." Because that's one of the hardest places to take care of business, is in that bookstore. When you first go off to college and you got to buy that graphing calculator, and you find out that joker is $125, and your eyes bug out your head. It's probably the most expensive thing. Your first purchase is that graphing calculator,
right?
And you don't want to go buy the used one. You want the new one instead of getting that used one for $65. because the used one got the old calculations in it, and you don't know that until after you buy the new one. So we want to help out with that. And I'm also want to get sponsorship. So if you know somebody who owns a business who's looking to sponsor and put the show, we'll put a nice little commercial right in the beginning, the middle, and the end, and we'll hype you up, and we'll get you some more business, whether it be eyes on your internet traffic or feet in the door. So we're looking to add some sponsorship. We are actively putting it out there that if you want to come in and talk to us, hey, we good. We would love to have you. Sports Talk with Kamau and Felix, sponsored by. And we put you on the merch. We get your merch, and we'll merge the merch together, and we'll make it look good. We'll make everybody happy. And we can put a little banner right at the top, right up there. Sponsored by. Okay, so
don't by Red Bull.
We'll take it. That's right. And when Red Bull has a function, we'll show a commercial where they jumping off the cliffs, or they flying them planes, or they riding them bicycles. Whatever Red Bull, come on. Red Bull, we like you, Red Bull. We do. My son drinks Monster, so if y'all want to, we want to sponsor with Monster, come on. We and he drink enough of it. You might as well come on sponsor that boy. Drive me crazy trying to get him the drink. He only 16, but that's another story, another day. So sponsorship, that is one of our goals for moving forward. All righty, we're gonna slide right on into football. Start, of course, with NFL football, as we were talking about earlier. Mr. Dama Hamlin, he is awake and responsive. And from what they said, the first thing he said was, "Did we win?" And they told him, "Yes, you won. You won the game of life." And the first time, I'm like, did he really say that? But I thought to myself, if it was me, that probably would the first thing I would have said. Did we win the game? I'm laid up here. We all better won the game if I'm laying here. But we had to explain to him that they stopped the game. When everything happened, and I'm glad to see that he is doing well. And they recently they just said that they took the resuscitation. He's breathing on his own now, and he's having small conversations. And they said that the team FaceTimed him during practice today.
Oh, okay.
And he said he gave him the fist sign, like strong. And so I feel bad for who they play this weekend. They play somebody.
New England.
They play New England.
Yeah.
That's that. You know what that remind me of? When the Saints opened up the Mercedes Dome after Hurricane Katrina, and how loud and raucous that was. It was a Monday night. And Atlanta came in there, and I said, Atlanta about to get whooped. They don't have a chance. I kind of think this might be the same kind of, either they're going to whoop New England real bad, or it's going to be a quick letdown. And I think it's in New England.
No.
I think it's at home? Oh no, it's over. It's trouble. It's going to be hell to pay for New England.
You never know. Like you said, it could be their hearts could be heavy while they're playing. The good thing is, we looked at it today. We got this past week, we all got a lesson in how precious life is. Mm-hmm. We put football to the back burner, and we seen how precious life is. Now, translate that to get on the field Sunday. And they have to go to the back to battle, and one of their key brothers is missing. Who knows? New England might get them, because you got to remember the guy over there on that sideline for New England. He's a pretty good guy. He's a pretty good coach. So it all depends. Or they might just come down. New England might come down and just lay a goose egg. Who knows? But everybody, they got a fighting chance.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you talking about outside. In the other frozen tundra with all the snow that they've been getting in Buffalo the last couple of weeks. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun.
93 inches since Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm. I think that's like a record for the 20th century for all the snow. So and people, once again, I'm sorry. We also need to send prayers to Buffalo for the people and how they've lost their lives and how the city came together and people huddled up together, stayed warm and kept themselves together. So we want to say a prayer for them as well. the people in Buffalo, especially the one young lady who took the man in, who couldn't know who he was, and finally somebody got there to help him, and she kept him for 4 days and kept him alive. So prayers out to the city of Buffalo as well for everything that they've been through. Now, do you think this will be a catalyst to send the Bulls to the Super Bowl and to win the Super Bowl?
Nah, because I mean, that's what you played for. You played for to go to a mild city, a mild state. Nah, I don't think so. If anything, if you did go somewhere and it was cold, it would be indoors. It wouldn't be out.
Do you think this situation happened with Dama Hamlin will give the Buffalo Bills a little bit more extra oomph to make it to the Super Bowl?
You can use it as motivation, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's still have to translate on the field because you use that for motivation, right? And you say, okay, let's go out here and let's win this for DeMar. Okay. If you run into Kansas City, you're going to Kansas City. Kansas City not coming to Buffalo. Right. So, I mean, how long is that torch going to really run? That's the thing. So, or let's just say it comes back and history repeats itself and you have to play the Bengals again. See, so yeah, you can use it for motivation, but at the end of the day, it still got to transpire on the field.
Okay. All right. I think that, the Buffalo Bills use the term circle the wagons. So I think this will help them in terms of quote unquote circling the wagon further down the field, down the season. In the beginning, I said that the Bills were my favorite to come out of the West, out of the AFC, excuse me. I said I don't know who's going to come out the NFC because nobody really made up their mind that they want to take control. And it's been like that all season. The Eagles stepped out in the beginning and they were running it. They've lost 3 in a row. The quarterback is more hurt than they're letting on. And so he probably won't play on Sunday either. So we're going to see who's going to come out of the NFC. But right now, I think I've always said it since the beginning, even though the Chiefs are doing well, that I like Buffalo. And the reason why I say that because Chiefs pick and choose when they want to play. Chiefs don't go out and put their foot down like they did in the beginning. They'll wait for a little bit of a challenge before they go. They say, okay, now they playing. All right, let's go ahead and take care of them. Instead of just saying from the beginning and go ahead and take care of business. Because they got the kind of team where they can just go ahead and they really honestly have the best team, the best talent. But in terms of putting it all together, playing all together, I think Buffalo is a little bit ahead of them right now. That's my thought.
Yep.
That's my thought. I could be wrong, been wrong before, but that's my thought. All righty, let's see here. We are, let's see. Big games this weekend. Of course, we got Detroit, Green Bay. Did I say that right, Giants of Minnesota? No, that's not right. We got Rams and Seahawks, Cleveland and Pittsburgh. So, of course, we talk about Detroit, Green Bay, and Seahawks all in that little triumvirate together, and the Rams, which is good for Detroit. If the Rams lose, Detroit get the 5 pick. If the Rams win, they can get anywhere up to Detroit can get all the way up to 9. And then if the Rams win, Detroit is still in it. It's a winner take all versus Green Bay. Something we haven't seen in the Detroit area in terms of playoffs for football, or any playoffs of winner take all in a long time. Something that you always want to see. So I'm looking forward to this weekend of football all Sunday. I won't see a lot of it because I've still got my prior commitment going on, but I will be home in town enough to see the Lions and the Packers. So we're gonna see what they do with that. Cleveland and Pittsburgh, I think, is the most intriguing game of the weekend. You got the best coach in the league, and Mike Tomlin going up against the upstarts in Cleveland, who could keep them out. If that way the quarterback can earn his money that they pay Cleveland all that money. If he knock off Pittsburgh, and you got the rookie, another potential rookie of the year, the quarterback Kenny Pickett can lead them to the playoffs after taking over the team partway through. In my opinion, they should just give it to him in the beginning. You know you're gonna play the boy. Just give it to him. Play him, man.
Right.
Just give it to him. So that to me, that's the most intriguing game of the weekend. I think that Cleveland is going. Pittsburgh's going to win that game. That's my guess on that one. Did I put that? No, because I didn't put that one in a prediction area. So I'm praying on for Pittsburgh. I've always thought that Mike Tomlin was the best coach in the league. He do the most with less than anybody. He's never had a losing record unless he lose on Sunday. Be his first losing record, but he still got a losing record going into the last season of a week of the season, where other teams, you already knew it was all for them.
Right.
And that's why he laughed when they talking about, is he going to take over this college team? He was like, come on, man, y'all serious? Y'all think I'm just going to leave my job to go coach college? Who's got it better than me here?
Right.
And so if you look at him, he started, he aged a little bit. He looking like me up top. He started to age. Well, before he was growing up. He's just a few years younger than me. So he started to look his age a little bit, and like I always say, he looked like the actor. I forget the actor's name. The guy who played in the football movie, and he played on House all those years, and he played in The Wood, and he played in Juice. What's the guy's name?
Omar Epps.
Omar Epps. Yeah, they always said that was his doppelganger.
Wow,
so.
Okay.
It's going to be a good weekend in NFL football. A lot of teams got a lot of things to play for, mostly positioning on AFC and NFC, who's going to be in what position. There's only one champion right now, and that's in the AFC. The NFC is still trying to figure out who's going to be the NFC champion and be the host team of the home games all the way through. So it's a lot of intrigue still going on. All right, we're going to quickly talk about these crazy semifinal games that we had. TCU beating Michigan, and you directly said that TCU was going to win. I intimated, but I did say that Michigan should win that game. I think the Michigan TCU game was over before it started. I'm sitting there watching those interviews, and you see JJ, and you know they're gonna play this, and you ain't even got to play the word, play what he said. All you gotta do is watch his body language. You know they played that in the locker room. So, and another guy talking about, so what conference are they in? You know they excuse me, you know they playing that in the locker room. I said that game was over before it started because Michigan was so confident. Was Michigan a better team? No question. Should Michigan have won that game? Yes. But when you start popping off like that, and JJ is a mirror of his culture, 100%, that arrogance that he shows, and Michigan going the game, throwing trick plays down on the goal line, and just run the ball in there. Michigan was quite easily the better team. That's why I thought that they would win. But I remember, like I said, if any of those two games would have been an upset, it was going to be TCU beating Michigan. And I know we text back and forth during the game, and that it seemed like TCU was, even though Michigan made that mad dash at the end, TCU was never out of control. They were always in control. Michigan will score, TCU score right back. 2 minutes later, touchdown. Okay. Then Michigan drive 5, 6, 7 minutes, score. TCU, touchdown. So that was TCU was never really out of control. Like
you should have put that on your resolutions. You should have put that you're gonna start listening to me more. I keep trying to tell you, man. I've been saying it all last year. They're not that good. I hear it at work. I tried to get you to come over to the dark side. They're not that good.
I'm not saying that they okay. They were better than TCU, but they didn't play that way. Yeah.
They were not.
They didn't play that way. And now, once Michigan made up their mind that they wanted to play, you saw where Michigan made the strides that they should have had in the very beginning.
Okay, let me ask you this. Would Michigan have to beat Ohio State again?
Probably not.
So
Ohio State was determined. And I'm gonna let's go ahead and talk about that game. Let's go ahead and talk about that game.
So how can you say they were better? They were better than TCU.
Let's go ahead and talk about the Georgia game. Georgia.
Oh, you want to leave that alone?
No. I'm not gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna tie it in.
Okay, tie it in.
Reason why I say that Michigan was not gonna beat Ohio State the second time, because Ohio State had that look. They had the eye of the tiger where they didn't have it last year or in this year's game. They had that. CJ Stroud got on the court, on the field with that look. Like, hey, we coming to take this. But two things happened in that game. when Marvin Harrison got hit, that shook the whole team. That really took a lot of the wind out of their sails. That was the first thing. The second thing, they still should have won the game. C.J. Stroud get them down in field goal position, and they called 3 of the dumbest plays in history. They threw a pass, and they did the little run and the little run. I'm thinking to myself, stay in the middle of the field, run the ball up the middle, and just kick the field goal. Because your kicker already told you what he was that day. He was a knuckleball kicker right down the middle on the field goal he had just kicked before that. Put him in the right position. I don't blame that on the kicker. That was the coach. You got to put your players in the best position. So
that would justify my point with Michigan. I blame the coach. Stop scheduling Western Michigan, Connecticut, and Hawaii. Go get you some SEC opponents. That way, when you do win the Big Ten and you go to the playoffs, you're ready for them. When you're playing Oak Park, Seaholm, and Brother Rice, when you get up to a powerhouse, that's why you lose. But to be honest, I don't even think they care about winning the national. I think long as they beat Ohio State and they be Big Ten champions, that's good enough. I really do.
I agree, but at the same time, disagree. For the game, the way the game is played now in terms of making the playoffs, you got to win them early games. You can't schedule them tough games. Now that they're going to 12 teams, you can play an early tough game. You got to be 3-0 going to your 4-0 going to your conference schedule. The way it's set up now, because they're only taking 4. It's one more year just taking 4. Then the next year they go to 12. You can lose an early game and still make it as a part of the top 12. So the strategy now, I understand. I say get some tougher non-conference myself. I agree with you. But you got to be undefeated going into your Big Ten season just in case you lose one and still have a chance to play for the conference championship. The way the system is now, you got to play the game the way the system is.
No. Because look, if Alabama would have lost to Texas, that would have gave them 3 losses, right? Yeah. They didn't lose. Okay, so they didn't lose to Texas. So what I'm saying is, Saban, he makes sure he gonna get one of them. They make sure they're gonna open that opening weekend with some tough opponent, right? Because it's gonna come down to what? Your strength of schedule. That's why Michigan, even if they were, when they beat Michigan State, all their points was off of field goals. I say, how can y'all think these teams, how can you think they're going to do something in the playoffs?
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
They should have turned out those 3s and the 7s.
And then not only are you battling the SEC, you're battling the NCAA because they don't want a Big Ten team playing for the championship.
They're very happy that both those teams lost.
Right. That was supposed to be Georgia versus TCU and Michigan and Ohio State again. The reason they switched it up was because they didn't want Michigan playing Georgia or Michigan playing TCU for the championship, and they didn't want Ohio State, vice versa. So we'll put them up.
They like Ohio State because Ohio State draw. They travel.
Travels well, absolutely. But at the same token, they're tired of Ohio State. So to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, we'll get rid of both of them. They didn't want it. They really didn't want Michigan, but they didn't want Ohio State neither. They're tired of Ohio State.
All right, sir. We're going to put a cap on that because it's time for us to take a quick pause for the calls as we go to Stupid Sports News. All righty, we're coming down to the heart of the show. First thing in Stupid Sports News, we're going to continue to talk about young Mr. Harbaugh and his roller coaster. For the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th year in a row, he's getting NFL overtures. Is he going to leave? Is he going to stay? And also just announced in the last 24 hours, NCAA violations. And they've already deemed this one Hamburger Gate, where they said that he paid for some hamburgers for some recruits and lied about it. It wasn't the hamburgers. It was the fact that he lied about it. Everybody makes mistakes. All you do is self-report. They may take a scholarship. They may give you a censure letter. All you have to do is tell the truth. I don't care about no hamburgers. Just tell the truth. Like Mama say, you did it wrong, baby. Yeah. Tell the truth. What happened, baby? See what happened. You lied to me. That's what's gonna happen.
Right.
Just tell the truth. I don't care about no hamburgers. Every culture in America makes mistakes with the NCAA. Football, basketball, baseball, volleyball. It's so many rules. It's hard not to break them, not unintentionally or intentionally. Just tell the truth, Jimmy. Of course, he's gonna get out of it. I'm not too worried about that. Really quickly, Paul Pierce versus LeBron. Paul Pierce been talking junk for years. So much recently, he talked about people were saying that people think that Paul Pierce thinks that he's better than LeBron. And what else has been said lately? How he tried to spit at the bench. He got a whole lot of stuff he's been talking about. Let's see here. How he brought the best of them. How he finally called him to go. How he finally called LeBron to go after all the years of talking junk about him. Which, and first thing, every time I think about Paul Pierce, you know what I think about? The boy from Michigan State at Golden State talking about, Pierce, you know they don't got love for you like they got love.
Draymond Green, yeah.
When Draymond talked about it, he on the bench yelling, you know we ain't got love for you. Ain't got love for Kobe. So I just thought that was interesting to hear that he would actually call him the GOAT after talking about him all them years and saying how much better he is. I'm not saying that he's not a better player than LeBron, but them stats don't back it up. He beat him once in the finals. I give him that. But you know, can you even come close to some of the things he's done in his career?
No. I don't know what's wrong with Paul, man. Paul just want to be remembered as one of the greats and just be happy for the career you had. Because
didn't he top 75?
Huh?
Wasn't he top 75?
I don't know. He might, because I think, he was standing on there with a. Was he? Was he? No,
I know he was all decade.
I thought he was. I thought he was out. Wasn't he out there with Garnett and Raynham?
I think so.
No? Okay, yeah. Well,
I think so. So
I think you just embellished the moment, man. You got stabbed. Your rookie year, you got stabbed. You survived. You know what I'm saying? You almost had a collapsed lung almost. I mean, just embellish the career you had.
Well, he from LA, so you know, sometimes it's a little hard to get away from the life, you know.
Right.
So I understand. All right. Let's see. Chris Beard, the Texas coach, gets fired with cause, which means they don't owe him another dollar. His fiance called the police on him after they got into a nice little lovers quarrel, saying that he choked her, he smacked her up a little bit, had the bruises to prove it, and just in the last 24 hours, they have let him go and given him the letter from the lawyer. Woo! When they fire you with cause, that means you get not another dime from us. He was in second year of a 6-year contract, making some good money, and the girlfriend tried to retract it, but the die had been cast. So what's in Texas? It's 12-1 right now, still number 6 and number 7. Well, what's going to happen to Mr. Beard's career now?
Well, you know, they're trying to take a stance on that woman battery, but here's the thing, though: is she still with him?
Still with him.
See, but then what was? I don't understand that. I really don't. Like, okay,
it's like Ray Rice all over again.
Right. Well, I mean,
here's the difference between him and Ray Rice. They paid Ray Rice to go away. They paid Rice his whole remaining contract for him not to come back. Chris Beard they could have got Ray Rice off because that's right. That's in the NFL contract too.
Right.
But Chris Beard, you're right. The violence against women, violence period. They taking a stand on it, no matter what the level. So Chris Beard, he'll be coaching a high-profile high school team here in the state of Texas, one of those academies or something. No, seriously, they make good money. Those coaches make 100, 125 grand a year. Seriously.
High school coaches?
High school. The football coaches, they make 100 grand a year.
Wow.
In the state of Texas.
Dallas Carter?
100. Well, maybe not so much in the city, but they making at least 75, 80 with no teaching. They don't teach a class. They just coach football.
Wow. Okay.
But their schedules, I mean, their salaries with camps. They do camps for the middle school, for the kids in the neighborhood, and they get to keep that money. So and that's how they help pay the assistants as well. So they make good money. Football, it's the big three down here: football, basketball, volleyball. Make good money.
Okay.
Yep. So that's why I think we'll see him soon. Moving forward, we run out of time, so we're gonna really get to Skip Bayless. You think they undefeated gonna go off the air?
Nah, because you gotta have something that go against First Take. So no. You know what though? Here's a pitch though. They could take undisputed off and slide us in that spot.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I'm sorry I said undefeated. Undisputed. Skip Bayless said, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of the games, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think what he said was so bad. I know people going to get mad at me for that. I know that kid's life was in the balance. But in all honesty, people get hurt, get caught off the field, almost die, have those concussions every game, and they don't stop those games there. And I'm not saying what happened wasn't serious, but at the end of the day, this is part of the machine. And I know we talked about it a lot in crosstalk. We really went over it really well. I wish we could put that up here. But I'm glad this kid is okay. But what I thought, what he said wasn't that bad. Now, like Marcus said, do you think it was too soon? It probably was too soon. But what he said, it was just the truth. And for people to go after him like that, it just reminded me of how everybody went against Jimmy the Greek when he talked about how the slave master put the slave man and the slave woman together and get the super slave, which is what they did. But people didn't want to hear it, and it was on MLK weekend when he said it. Wound up losing his job. So I think that's somewhere close to that. I hope him and Skip and Shannon can work it out because they have been beefing before that. I like seeing them together just to see them argue. I know that at some point they're gonna sit down and talk about it because Shannon can't hold his tongue for nobody. He gonna tell you how he feels. It may take him a couple of days, a couple of weeks before he calmed down enough not to want to punch him in the mouth, but they're working all right. All right, we got to make our quick predictions. We over just a little bit. Lions, Green Bay. You already said. Who, sir? Remind us.
I'm going to go with Green Bay 23-20.
In my heart, I want the Lions to win. I've been going against them all season, and they've been winning. So I'm going to continue to go against the Lions. I'm going to say that Green Bay is going to win the game 35-13. Georgia, TCU, Monday night. Yeah. That's what I really think is going to happen because they love Aaron Rodgers like they love Tom Brady. So when Aaron Rodgers retires, he's going to get a Tom Brady like send off. Georgia TCU Monday night, ESPN. Who you got, sir?
Yeah, Georgia 31-27.
I think this one could be another upset. Georgia once again should win this game. I'm gonna go with Georgia. I'm gonna say a little bit closer, 28-25. That's what I got. But if it's an upset, don't be surprised because TCU they on a mission. They look like they're on a mission. All right, young man. Our next show is January 21st. On Tuesday, you turn 21 again. Happy birthday to the Felix. Happy birthday to the Felix. Happy birthday to the Felix. Happy birthday.
Stop watching Star Search.
Thank you, everybody. We got to celebrate you, man. We got to celebrate you. Thank you, everybody, for coming out this morning. Don't forget to click like, click share. Let everybody know that we are here. On their site and some feet in the door. Let us know. We'll pump them up. Pump them up. See you in 2 weeks. Have a great one, everybody.
All right.